Hey, what's up guys, Benny here and welcome to another Black Ops 4 Blackout video. Now, one of the hardest things to know is what are the best weapons to use in Blackout. So I put together, in my opinion, the 6 best guns to use in the game. Make sure to let me know down in the comments if you agree or not, but let's get into the first gun. So to kick off the video, we need to start off with a gun that has very recently got buffed and is now an excellent weapon to use for those medium to long range gunfights, which is the Auger Dmr. Now, this is a single shot rifle that uses 7.62 ammo and you can actually fire pretty quickly. And since the patch, it has much more manageable recoil as it now recenters your crosshair a lot faster whilst aiming down sights. Now, to be super effective with this weapon, you want to fire in quick bursts, as your first shot will get a quick bit of side kick before recentering and allowing you to nail your target. I try to use either a 3 or 4 times scope with it to get the most out of it, but you can nail people really quickly at all ranges now, especially due to the high bullet damage, though it doesn't have incredible bullet velocity, so you will need to aim higher up at a distance. The attachment you definitely want to try and get for the Auger though is the grip, as it just makes that aim down sight time super quick and allows you to bring a target down that little bit quicker, especially if they're right in your face. Also, one thing to be aware of is that if you're getting shot at, this gun can be quite hard to be accurate with, as there's not much room for error, as getting hit will give you this big bit of kick, which is why it's not higher up on the list, but it's definitely a gun worth using if you can't find a sniper rifle, though I would suggest having an automatic assault rifle or submachine gun paired with it. Next up, we have a super reliable all-rounder, which has a solid fire rate to help bring people down at close quarters. It doesn't have much recoil for medium range, and is, in my opinion, the best 5.56 assault rifle that you can find on the ground, and that is the Vapor XKG. Now, one thing to be aware of is that the iron sights for this weapon suck. It's the gun's real major negative, so try to find a red dot sight or an elo for it as soon as you can, as if you get into any gunfight at any range that isn't close up, I don't really like using the Vapor compared to the ICR, which has a really nice iron sight, so you could potentially get killed. However, with a sight and with all attachments, this Vapor stands up to every other 5.56 assault rifle in the game quite happily. Just remember to burst fire and not hold down the trigger against enemies at medium range. Also, lead your shots if they're running away, as like the Auger, it doesn't have that high a bullet velocity, so it can take a bit of time for your bullet to reach your target. I absolutely love this gun though, and it is a nice mix between an assault rifle and submachine gun, so it's a great all-rounder for every situation that you'll find yourself in Black Ops 4 Blackout. Also, for my time playing the game, it's one that you'll find a lot in supply caches at spots like Fracking Tower with all attachments already on it, which will easily get you to the end of the match. Now, I had to include this gun as it's massively underrated because you won't find it that often in Blackout, as you can only find it in supply caches or the mystery box, and that is the Grav, which is actually the Galil from Black Ops 1. There's a few downsides with it due to the fact you can't put any attachments on the gun and it just comes how it comes. But as an assault rifle, it is just incredible. It's got a solid fire rate, it doesn't recoil much, and has helped me win so many matches. 35 bullets a clip, which is more than enough and will shred anyone in a 1v1 gunfight with another 5.56 assault rifle if you're landing all your shots, which thankfully you can do at those short to medium range distances, as the iron sight is very clean, which is exactly what you want, and makes you not miss the fact you can't put a red dot or 2 times sight on it, which would have probably made it higher up on my list. It is now time for the top 3 guns in Blackout, and my third best gun in Blackout is one that has surprised me since it got a recent buff in one of the recent patches, and has become probably the best automatic assault rifle in the entire game, and is also ridiculously powerful, and that is the Rampart. Now, the biggest strength for the Rampart is that it does high damage, but has a low, steady fire rate compared to other assault rifles. It's quite like the Remington from Call of Duty Ghosts in many ways, and until the recent patch, it did have a high amount of recoil, which made it not that practical to use in Blackout, where you can't afford to be missing shots due to a big kick of recoil. But now, especially when you get all the attachments for it, it's ridiculously good. It does 37 damage a bullet to the chest, which makes it super strong compared to 5.56 assault rifles, and with that recoil reduction, has put it to the top of my list out of all the automatic assault rifles in Blackout. One thing to remember is that even though the recoil has been reduced, especially when you've got all the weapon attachments, I personally still try to burst fire and do quick trigger taps to make it super accurate at those medium to long range distances. I also try to stick to using a red dot or elo sight with it, and usually try to keep my secondary weapon to be a sniper for those long distance kills, though the 2x scope is still a solid choice if you don't have a red dot. Now, I also always try to stick to using the suppressor on my assault rifles over the extended barrel, even with the Rampart. But this is a gun, if you see on the floor, you should definitely pick up. It uses 7.62 ammo and is the most powerful assault rifle in the entire game, especially after that recoil buff. Now, the second best gun in the game, I had to spend a lot of time thinking about, as I don't think it fits into my best Blackout setup compared to the Rampart, for example. But if I have to have one primary assault rifle, this would definitely be it. And that is the ABR. This gun has one of the fastest kill times in the game if you manage to land all 3 shots from the burst, as it takes only 2 bursts to down an opponent without armor, which is ridiculously quick. It's also ridiculously accurate, with you also being able to hold your breath to make the burst bullet spread be even tighter and be able to hit your targets at longer distances due to the ABR being listed as a DMR. So it's one of the few weapons in the game that has that benefit, which means you also get a big advantage if you're using the Iron Lungs perk. So you'll find yourself winning a lot more of those mid-range gunfights and not have to worry about managing your recoil so much, as the time between firing bursts does that for you. Now, like I've already said, like most other assault rifles in the game, I'm a huge fan of using a suppressor over the extended barrel, because in battle royales, you just don't want enemies to know exactly where you're shooting from or attract more enemies to head in your direction. So make sure to use a suppressor with the ABR. Grips also massively help at making you be able to land your shots at greater distances, as it'll tighten the bullet spread of the burst. But otherwise, the big attachment I use for the ABR is fast mags over extended mags, because as it's a burst rifle, you won't ever be spraying as much as you would with the Rampart, for example, so fast mags just helps with that reload speed. But the ABR is an absolute monster. Definitely use it if you can, and remember to hold your breath by pushing in the left stick, as it's easy to forget to do as it's not a sniper rifle. But I would say it is the second best weapon in the game, though do let me know what you think down in the comments below. And now it is the time you've been waiting for, and of course the best weapon in Blackout is the Paladin sniper rifle. I don't think I've ever had so much enjoyment using a weapon in a game as much as I have done with the Paladin. There's just something so satisfying when you land that headshot and kill an enemy in the head, even when they've got level 3 armor on. This is a gun with high bullet velocity, so even if an opponent is a long way away, you don't have to aim too high for the bullet to land on target. The Paladin is the weapon for me that allows you to shoot enemies out of helicopters, take people off the back of vehicles, take on entire squads single-handedly if you're accurate enough with it, which is why I always try to use a 3 or 4 sensitivity, as it allows you to make those small adjustments with this sniper that you need to regularly land those headshots to pick up those kills. Sadly, the Paladin is a rare weapon to find, especially from floor loot. You're most likely to find it from supply caches or supply drops, which normally means you'll get it with all attachments already on it, as there is a higher chance of it being a gold gun in a supply cache or supply drop than just finding it on the floor. There is not a single gun in the game that I would rather have currently than the Paladin. It fires 50 cal bullets, which you'll find you're never really short of in a battle royale. It's got a 5 bullet mag, or 8 if you've got an extended mag, which I tend to always try and have on it, as you won't ever need to worry about reloading in a team fight. Sadly, you don't really have that much choice with the attachments you use. You can't put a suppressor on it, so you'll always have the extended barrel to stop damage drop off at those extreme distances. You'll definitely want to make sure to use the sniper scope so you have the best chance of landing those headshots at all distances. Though even at those short to medium distances, I'll use the Paladin if I've got a lightweight perk active, as you can always get a nice quick headshot which will take an opponent out instantly before switching to your assault rifle or submachine gun. You may at times also want to use iron lungs so you have a bit more time to land shots at long range, though remember there is a fair amount of downtime between being able to fire the Paladin, so if you're only landing body shots and not headshots, other snipers like the Outlaw could potentially beat you. But the Paladin is easily the best weapon in the game. If you see one, make sure to pick it up and use it. It can honestly make all the difference in picking up those wins in all game modes. It's just the best weapon in the entire game. So there we have it. Those are the best guns that you can use in Black Ops 4 Blackout currently. Make sure to let me know down in the comments if you agree or not. Subscribe if you're new to the channel and smash that thumbs up button. And we'll see you next time. Bye.